Hey, we got a bonus show today, folks. That's right. Had to scurry out earlier in the day. Had a Fox 29 hit, technical difficulties. I didn't want to leave you guys on I think what amounted to a 27-minute show. That's ridiculous. So I'm not gonna leave you high and dry like the Sixers did to the city all of a sudden. I mean, come on. What am I, Josh Harris? What am I saying here? Anyway, we'll get to that later. The Philadelphia Eagles beat the Green Bay Packers yesterday, 22-10 to advance to the divisional round of the postseason. Jalen Hurts gets another playoff victory under his belt, although he did not by any means play great. Now, I'm going to do something in this show that might sound to the untrained ear like I'm defending Jalen Hurts, but in actuality, I'm just putting it out there and reporting the news. Jalen Hurts had a very good to very bad to very clutch performance against the Green Bay Packers yesterday. The middle of it was terrible. If you just go by the numbers, for instance, I crunched the numbers for you. 6 of 6 to start out the game with a touchdown. First drive, obviously, had phenomenal field position. Then 0 for his next 7. Terrible. And then 7 of his last 8 he completed with another touchdown, which, by the way, that great run by Dallas Goedert after the catch where he just was the daddy of one of the Green Bay Packers, Carrington, whatever his name is. He adopted him. That's now his child. And he just stiff-armed him. I know Nick Sirianni was trying to count the stiff arms during his post-game press conference. Maybe 2, 3. All I know is it was 20 yards worth of stiff arms with the emotionally enlightened A.J. Brown making his first block on that. But that play doesn't happen without Jalen Hurts reading what the defense was doing in front of him, checking to that play, and then the Eagles executed it to perfection. The middle of the game for Jalen Hurts, that was terrible. And I just watched Dan Orlovsky did a film breakdown. Was 1 or 2 plays there. Of course, guys weren't open for him, but on the plays that guys were open for him, there was another play. Dallas Goedert over the middle was wide open on a route where he just sat down and was like, I'm wide open. Give me the ball. Jalen Hurts apparently never saw him. And then on that same play, Grant Calcaterra was also open. Jalen Hurts didn't see him. But here's what it comes down to. And I'm going to start off with Saquon Barkley after the game. Let me highlight before I do that, the defense was phenomenal. Turnovers were absolutely incredible. 3 interceptions. Darius Slay used all the speed he had saved throughout the entire season on his 1 interception in this game at the start of the second quarter. Zach Bond had a great interception over the middle. That was a great play by him. And then Quenyon Mitchell came up with his first interception as a pro football player. And what better time than the postseason to break that out as he sealed the deal with that one. That was great. But Saquon Barkley, when talking about the offense, when talking about the defense, when he was asked about the stats, said it doesn't matter as long as you stack the wins, essentially. Here's Saquon post-game, and I couldn't agree with him more.
Do you feel like you said it doesn't matter, but in order to go where you guys want to go, does it have to be elevated, do you think, going forward?
Yeah, we got to be our biggest critic, and that's what we're going to be, and we're going to see where we can improve on. But at the end of the day, the opinions, that's for you guys. Only thing that really matters is how we win. Whether we throw for 400 yards, we rush for 400 yards, or we win the game 3-0. I don't give a to be honest. I just want to win. And I think that's the mindset of the team. I know that's the mindset of the team, and we'll go back, we'll watch film, we'll improve, and get ready for whatever we got next.
That you just win. Just win, damn it. That's all you got to do is you go out there and you win football games, right? This is what Jalen Hurts says time and time again, and I hate that this gets said now tongue-in-cheek by people almost mocking the Eagles franchise quarterback. But is this not what we want from every single athlete that ever walks through Philadelphia? To keep the main thing the main thing. Now, what is the main thing? The main thing is winning football games. And the main thing is winning a Super Bowl, which, of course, Jalen Hurts has yet to do, which this Eagles team has yet to do with Jalen Hurts. But that is the main thing. If the quarterback doesn't want to take risky throws, and to me, I thought he was being overly cautious yesterday. Like the rust idea. I told you going into the game, I was like, I don't feel good about this when it comes to the rust factor here. Jalen Hurts going to be rusty. You're talking about a bad Panthers game there. Bad Panthers game, by the way, where he had 3 touchdowns. But still, overall, not a great passing game to the point where after that game, A.J. Brown is all, hey, we got to work on the passing game. What needs to be worked on here? The passing. Okay, point taken. Then he comes out against the Steelers, and Jalen Hurts literally said, go, gadget passing game, and all of a sudden the passing game was great. But you've only had one of those great passing games. Then he has 4 passes against the Commanders, 1 completion, and then we don't see him for 3 weeks as he goes through concussion protocol. So I was expecting rust. Well, so much for rust. 6 of 6 for his first 6 throws and a touchdown. And by the way, yes, he had all day on the touchdown pass to Jahan Dotson. But when is Jalen Hurts targeted Jahan Dotson in the red zone? My educated guess would be 0 times this season. He finds him streaking to the back of the end zone and delivers a perfect strike to him. So no rust there. No rust there whatsoever. The next 7 passing attempts, pass plays even, looked discombobulated. Before watching all of the all 22, it just looked discombobulated. And Jalen Hurts looked to me to be a guy that was just being very protective of the football. The other thing is he's got the Green Bay Packers at home on a banged-up team that only got more banged up as the game went on. I think in Jalen Hurts' mind is thinking, I just don't make a mistake. We win this game. I got a running back who in the first half, despite not running the football a ton, was still averaging over 6 yards per carry. I saw some people say, oh, give it to Barkley, give it to Barkley. Well, I would love to give it to Barkley if the Eagles had more plays, but he still averaged over 6 yards per carry on 13 carries in the first half. Jalen Hurts in that first half finished at 6 of 13 passing. Nothing was really going other than the run game. I would have loved to see more Barkley and given that opportunity in that first half, but the Eagles just didn't go to it. But when Jalen Hurts was throwing a football in the middle portions of this game, going from I believe I even wrote down the time here, going from the 120 mark of the first quarter to the 441 mark of the third quarter, good Lord, Jalen Hurts went without a completion. So that's the part of the game that we're worried about. So here's the good news. I truly feel this was the worst game Jalen Hurts is going to play in the postseason. Now, I know some people, you can throw 3 interceptions again. I'm a Justin Herbert game. Okay. By the way, can we stop putting Justin Herbert in our top 6 of quarterbacks in the NFL? Because that's really annoying me. But anyway, Jalen Hurts goes out there yesterday and has a very bad middle portion of the game, ugly even. But then he gets together in that third quarter, and again completed 7 of 8. But my thing with Jalen Hurts in this one is that I feel like he played his worst game that he's going to play this postseason. He played it against the Packers. Now, the good news there is that the defense was playing fantastic. Jalen Hurts was being ultra conservative. Saquon Barkley was still getting his. And when that third quarter came, when that push come to shove moment came, Jalen Hurts delivered, as he has for the majority of the season. Whether it's a 3rd and 7 to Dallas Goedert like it was against the Ravens, like it was the 67-yard touchdown reception by Dallas Goedert against the Saints. You have seen Jalen Hurts have struggle-filled moments in games. And unfortunately, those moments end up being quarters. Now, are you going to be able to survive that against the Lions or even the Vikings if they come to town? No. That's going to be tough. Your defense is going to have to be playing even better than they did yesterday. And without Nakobe Dean, that's a bit of a tall order considering how well he was playing. But if I can look at this game and say that it's the worst game we're going to see from Jalen Hurts this postseason, then I feel pretty damn good about where the Eagles season is going to end up in a Super Bowl. So when I look at this game from Jalen Hurts, I look at that moment in the third quarter where the Eagles needed to get the conversion on the 3rd and 3. He scrambles to his left, delivers a perfect pass to Devontae Smith, and Smitty balls out, goes 28 yards with it. Then 2 plays later, Dallas Goedert gets the opportunity to make sure that he gets that big run after the catch when, again, Jalen Hurts recognizes what the defense was giving him, checks down to the play to Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert floats up the line, catches the ball. A.J. Brown makes the block, probably his best block of the season. And then Dallas Goedert adopts a fella on his way into the end zone for a touchdown to make it 16. Unfortunately, 16-3. Jake Elliott missed the PAT. But that was a clutch moment for Jalen Hurts and a great physical moment there for Dallas Goedert, justifying the idea of bringing him back next year, which I know some people are skeptical of, myself included. But Jalen Hurts started a great trend on that drive where he went 3 of 3 passing after going 0 for his last 7 and not completing a pass since the 120 mark in the first quarter. That's clutch performance. I'll tell you what else is a clutch performance. 4 quarters of this Philadelphia Eagles defense. And my favorite part, look, all the turnovers were great. The interceptions were great. Oren Burks on the opening kickoff. There was only one thing that I went into this game with that I was honestly a little concerned about. And that was Matt LaFleur putting in a game plan that he did similar to when they were 7.5-point favorites last year against the Dallas Cowboys. Matt LaFleur went in there and said, we're going to run it down their throat. We're going to dominate time of possession. And we're going to use big plays also like they did this year, the entirety of this year, number one in big plays. So the Green Bay Packers get their plot foiled when Oren Burks lays the smackdown. First, thought helmet to helmet, not called. Okay. Second, fumble. Yeah, fumble. And then picked up, wrestled away after it was forced. The fumble was forced by Oren Burks. The ball was taken away by Jeremiah Trotter Jr., the hatchet man himself. Eagles get the ball, bing, bang, boom, touchdown, up 7-0, just like that. So turnovers were fantastic. That's a clutch performance by your special teams. A clutch punt later in the game by Braden Mann after the Eagles had a horrible possession. Braden Mann boots the ball 67 yards down the field, or 63 yards down the field. That flipped the field. That was an incredible play there on the special teams. The turnovers were wonderful. But throughout this game, the defense was the star of the show. I know I opened up talking about Jalen Hurts, the sexiest position in sports, quarterback. That's going to get a lot of lightning rod information or a lot of lightning rod attention. But when you talk about the defense, Zach Bond, ball out. Nakobe Dean, while he was in there, balled out. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson left the game for a while, came back. He was solid there at the safety position again. Reed Blankenship played a very aggressive game. Jalen Carter was winning his battles and owning the line of scrimmage. Wasn't getting into the backfield as much as I would have liked him to. But when you're the focus of a defensive line, guys are going to try to take you out. And he still was controlling battles there on the defensive line. And Nolan Smith. We talk so much about Nolan Smith and Zach Bond and Jalen Carter and other guys on this defense in particular. I think about all the guys on the defense that really exceeded expectations this year. Like, I thought Quinyon Mitchell was going to be a player. I didn't think he'd be damn near all Pro Bowl worthy. Cooper DeJean playing after week 4, after the bye week, and then come out after that against the Browns, makes his debut. Him going into the slot corner was like a major upgrade from Avonte Maddox. He exceeded expectations for me this year. Zach Bond, again, obviously exceeded expectations. Nolan Smith is a guy that before the season, I even said, like, if I'm organizing he's not in my plans this year to be an impact player. Nolan Smith, he was coming on the heels of a rookie season where he was a major disappointment. He was coming off shoulder surgery already. I don't know if it was scoped or whatever it was, but remember, in the preseason last year, you're listening to Nolan Smith, the first-round pick, tell you that sometimes his shoulder works and sometimes it doesn't. What? Are you a rookie or a 15-year NFL veteran? And he said the thing about, it's like a baby. My shoulder's like my baby. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I was like, I don't understand the baby analogy, first and foremost. And second, I'm sorry, what? Your shoulder's already banged up and you haven't even played a real regular season game yet? This is the preseason? Okay. And then last year, obviously disappointed. I am eating a big old pie of crow when it comes to Nolan Smith. Because not only has he had a solid year ever since the bye week, he has been great ever since Brandon Graham went down against the LA Rams. He has risen to the occasion. I will say, the way he played leading up to that moment that Brandon Graham went down, and everyone's like, well, who's going to step up? The first person I said was the person that needs to step up is Nolan Smith. And it's not just a guy that I had my doubts against, but Vic Fangio in the preseason, when Nolan Smith had a sack in the preseason against the Ravens, Vic Fangio all but brushed it aside, just being like, well, yeah, he's fast and nobody blocked him, and he good job, I guess, getting to the quarterback and finishing the job. Like, Vic Fangio didn't even want to give him the just due for getting a sack. And I understand it's preseason. I'm not expecting Vic Fangio to do a cartwheel, but I'm expecting a little bit more than this. Ugh. That was more or less his delivery after, hey, Nolan Smith got a sack in the preseason. Okay. But as the season has gone on and Nolan Smith has improved, you know who's been right there, acknowledging it every step of the way? Vic Fangio. And that's where Vic Fangio's idea of, don't put limits on players because then you'll get limited production. And I loved when he said that last week about Zach Bond. It applies to his philosophy about coaching. Whether it's a guy that's a special teamer and edge rusher, outside linebacker for the Saints like Zach Bond had been, or it's a first-round pick that underachieved in his rookie season, coming out trying to prove his worth on this roster, he gave Nolan Smith the opportunity. He gave him room to grow. Brandon Graham goes down. He's got even more room to push his ceiling higher and higher. And that's where the second part of Vic Fangio's quote comes in. Take them to the ceiling you know they can get to. And Nolan Smith, I don't even think is at that ceiling yet. You're talking about a guy in Nolan Smith that in the first quarter of yesterday's game, the Green Bay Packers ran 10 plays. They ran 10 plays in the first quarter. Nolan Smith had 4 tackles in the first quarter. He had a sack, he had a quarterback hit, he had a tackle for loss. And he bookended the game with a sack, essentially. First quarter, fourth quarter. Nolan Smith was there. High motor, high energy, ready to go. And after the game, he tipped his cap to his defensive lineman, especially one man in particular when it came to the D tackle position.
Man, both of them, actually, my D tackles. Man, my D tackles had a good rushes, and we set it up with the games. But, man, my D tackles, man, shout out to Milt, man. I might give Milt half of my playoff check, man, because we was joking about it.
Milt Williams like, say what now? Half your playoff check. Yes, please, and thank you. Yes, please. Friend of the Farsi show, Milton Williams, by the way. But I a lot of times, you know, when you grow up and you're a fan of these teams, and you grow up in the Philadelphia area and you live 20 years of your life in the city proper, you know, despite being in the locker rooms and talking to these guys and being professional, you still, if you're not rooting for the team, you're rooting for the people around you to be happy that are still only in the fan category. So a lot of times you make predictions that I'm going to say this, I think this, but God, I hope I'm wrong. And then a lot of times you have to root to be wrong. I'm not saying that's my cross to bear or anything, but that's just the fact of the matter. I couldn't be happier. Like, I'll eat crow with no condiments, no sprinkling of salt, no pepper, no nothing. I will just eat crow. I will just eat it lightly grilled, cooked, please, no worms. And then I'll eat that crow, and I'll be happy to do it in favor of Nolan Smith playing as well as he did in the postseason. Did not see that coming. I would say him and Zach Bond are the biggest overachievers of this season for the Philadelphia Eagles defense, and that's saying something. Because, I mean, you also look at the cornerback position, whether it's Cooper DeJean, whether it's Quenyon Mitchell. Howie Roseman could have drafted a corner to save his life, and then all of a sudden he's got these two guys. What was it, 2 for $1 in one draft? Not bad there, Howie. And every single one of those guys yesterday did their job. And they did a phenomenal job of doing it. I still can't get over Darius Slay coming up with that interception at the start of the second quarter. I can't get over it. Because we had not seen a big play by Slay in quite some time. We had seen big he's hurt again Slay. Nickname doesn't roll off the tongue as well, but I think you understand what I'm saying. And then he gets the interception, hurts his arm, goes to the locker room. It's like, wow, even his arms were shocked that the ball stayed there. But he used his speed, caught up, made the catch. It was great. But all in all, to say it again, the defense was the star of the show. After that, Saquon Barkley, especially in that first half, averaging over 6 yards a carry. Class move by him, smart move by him. And I want to say this, at the end of the game, he had an opportunity, and I meant to do this on my earlier show, and I didn't do it because I'm a big fat idiot. Boop. It was Saquon Barkley at the Green Bay 18-yard line. Was that it? No, that ended in a field goal. Okay. Saquon Barkley at Philadelphia's own, this makes more sense, Philadelphia's own 24-yard line. Okay. Barkley breaks left. There's nobody. Like, he must have gotten to the left side of the line of scrimmage, looked up and went, oh, damn, there's nobody here. This is going to be, what would it have been there? 86-yard touchdown. That's pretty damn good. What am I saying? 76-yard touchdown. And he is going into this game. He was 472 yards shy of the all-time single regular season and postseason rushing record set by Terrell Davis in 1998. Great story, Alex Coffey, Inquirer.com on Terrell Davis. But I remember watching that and just thinking how incredible that was. And nobody talks about that record because there's certain things that have to go into that. Like, your team can't have a first round bye. You have to play that game and all that stuff. But Saquon could have put himself in phenomenal position over the next couple of games here to break that record as well. But he didn't do it. He did the smart thing and he just got down. Eagles took the knee and that was the end of the game. But throughout this game, Saquon Barkley, I was just waiting for him to break one. His longest run of the game was 17 yards. That was his longest run of the game. And he had, I believe, 2 separate 17-yard runs in this game. 17 yards. He finished with 25 carries with 119 yards. Could have been a lot more on 4.8 yards per carry. Just like I was waiting for Jalen Hurts to still have that moment of clutchness where he would do something to help put the game out of reach and it was a Dallas Goedert touchdown, I was waiting for the Saquon Barkley moment, and all he did was just help control the clock at the end of the game, and that's huge. Obviously, help keep the ball moving was your only offense in the middle portion of this game while Jalen Hurts was going through that 0-for-7 stretch. But Saquon Barkley helped keep things going. Dallas Goedert, with his clutch performances, obviously I mentioned the touchdown already, had a couple of clutch catches also throughout the game. But you're talking about guys here. Dallas Goedert, 4 catches. Him and Devontae Smith had a clutch performance as well. Saquon Barkley had only 2 catches in this game, didn't really get much out of that. There was one play in particular I think it was the second possession. Yeah, it was the second possession of the Eagles. The 3rd and 5, they ran that swing play to Saquon Barkley. What the hell was that? I love Devontae Smith, and I think he's a tough SOB. But why are we continuously having him block? Why do the Eagles still do that? Why do you do that to us? He got owned twice on that play. Once on the initial block, and then when Saquon was already down, I see Saquon gets knocked down, and then I see Devontae Smith's skinny Batman body fly through the screen. He got knocked on his ass again. Let's not do that anymore. I think he's tough as hell, but maybe still work on getting him to football and not setting up his blocking. When I was watching the game with Seth Joyner in our green room with Derek Gunn, we do the pre- and post-game show on the Seth Joyner Show YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe. Seth was like, if you're going to run that, run it to AJ. Why are you running a swing pass behind Devontae Smith? Stupid. And it was pretty dumb. That was the type of play that even if it worked, I go, I hate that. I absolutely hate that. And I hated that play. But yeah, after the Eagles Eagles offense went stagnant, they were able to engineer 1 field goal drive after Nolan Smith's first sack of the game, and they finished the first quarter 10-0. Then this is what I absolutely loved about the Eagles defense. This is one of my favorite parts of the game. The Green Bay Packers get the ball on their own 43-yard line. On a 3rd and 1, they run that Tucker Kraft. It's not a tush push, tight end sneak, if you will. He runs for 8 yards and takes every member of South Philadelphia with him as he does that. Then Dean gets a tackle for loss on Jacobs to put him back at 6-yard loss. It sets up a 3rd and 12. That's where you have the scramble for 11 yards, and then Kraft gets another tight end sneak, direct snap, whatever. He converts on the 4th and 1. Anyway, you keep going through this drive. Dean comes up with another tackle for loss. Nakobe Dean does. Rodgers is able to actually drew a flag on that one, excuse me. Then there's a 3rd and 13. Smith gets another pressure to force an incomplete pass. They face a 38-yard field goal with Temple alum Brandon McManus. Brandon misses a 38-yard field goal, and all for nothing. It ended up being a 13-play, 37-yard, 7-minute and 37-second long possession by the Green Bay Packers, and the Eagles defense just went, that's a shame. That's a shame. And Miss Guzzi, that's a shame. That was one of my favorite parts of the game when Brandon, not for nothing, Brandon. Sorry. Go Temple. But for the Eagles, that was phenomenal. Unfortunately, the Eagles got the ball back and did nothing. They were able to engineer a field goal for them. So, no, they did nothing. That's right. They didn't score. Bond had another interception. They did nothing with that. That's what it was. Dallas Goedert's pass interference call at the end of the second quarter that never happened should have been a pass interference call. The fact that he was not granted the benefit of a pass interference call was hilarious. And LASIK eye center. Yeah. Absolutely love your Twitter handle. Oh, your X handle is a thing of beauty. To criticize referees for not being able to see that and encourage them to get LASIK. I love it. I absolutely love it. But yeah, they got nothing on that play. Boop. Middle of the field, Dallas got incomplete. Yeah. It was a 2nd and 4 at the Green Bay 39. He makes that catch Yeah, you're well within field goal range. You make that catch. And then Dallas got, that's right, Dallas got it then right after that, got the false start penalty on a play where he was in motion. I didn't get that, but whatever. Damn ridiculous. And that knocked the Eagles out of field goal range. But would have been another field goal before the half. And unfortunately, the refs suck at their job. A go figure. They finally get a field goal in the third quarter on a 12-play, 76-yard drive. Made it 10-3. Then Hurts comes back in the clutch, hits Goddard, 3 for 3 on that drive. The 28-yard play on the rollout to Devontae Smith, 16-3. After that, Jake Elliott missed the field goal, or missed the point after. Packers get nothing going for themselves. They have another run. Oh, that's when they scored their only touchdown of the game. That was a 9-play, 78-yard drive, 3 minutes, 24 seconds. Eagles get the ball back, have a great tush push at midfield to get it. They get another field goal, go up 19-10. They get another field goal, go up 22-10. And that was all she wrote. Admittedly, the offense struggled in the middle portion of this game. Jalen Hurts struggled in the middle portion of this game. Here's your head coach, Nick Sirianni, on what went down with the offense.
As an offense, we struggled a little bit as an offense. I don't think we had the game that we wanted to have on offense. But Jalen, I did a lot of good things. One thing that Jalen continued. First of all, Jalen is a winner. He wins. I mean, no one can argue that, right? And the other thing is, we know when we take care of the football, the things that happen when we take care of the football. And Jalen's on this pace of, the efficiency that he's played with this year, and with his quarterback rating, with his yards per attempt, and all those different things. To be able to do that while also taking care of football is huge.
The fact that he was asked about the offense sputtering and immediately went to Jalen Hurts taking care of the football. I have never thought of Jalen Hurts and Donovan together, very separate. I don't really put quarterbacks together like that. I think they're very individualized. In my mind, the quarterbacks that I've watched basically every snap of. But Jalen Hurts reminded me a lot of Donovan yesterday in this regard. I remember one of the more, the common knock of Donovan was the worm burners and all that stuff. But a common knock of Donovan, too, that's kind of become forgotten, was that he didn't take a lot of risks. It was very rare that he ever threw a 50-50 ball. And that's why his interceptions were always very low. And it would almost be a criticism of him, of Donovan McNabb, saying that he would never take that risk. Sometimes you got to take that risk, you got to stretch the field, whatever. And he had a great arm to do it. Still one of the most accurate deep ball throwers I've ever seen. Not just Eagles, ever seen. But very rarely would he ever take that risk. And that was the thing that people would knock him on for every once in a while, or knock him for every once in a while. Jalen Hurts yesterday, I mean, he was protecting the egg, is what he was doing. There were certain plays, and again, I got to go back. I got to watch the all 22 of it. I haven't done it yet. What I have seen, there were some plays that I thought, oh, why is he holding on to the ball so long? And I look, oh, nobody's open. Or a guy that was open was the last guy on his read. It looked like he went through 4 progressions. And I'm talking again about Dan Orlovsky's highlight that he put out earlier today on social media, saying that, look, this guy isn't open. And he went through 3 different guys. And then the guy he ended up completing the pass to was Grant Calcaterra. I like Grant Calcaterra, okay? But I'm not thinking he's the number one guy. Was he open on the play? Yes, he was. Was Jalen Hurts looking his way? Not until he got to his 4th read, and then he delivered the ball. But there are other plays where I did see guys open. And the Fox broadcast did go to the Sky Cam, or did go to the, the cable cam, whatever, to show that there were guys open downfield, and Jalen Hurts either didn't see him or didn't want to let it rip. The idea of rust, I can't help but think that some of the synchronization, as Jalen Hurts put it after the Panthers game, was off. Some of the organization was off. Some of the timing was off. Whether that's rust or not, I think that has a little bit to do with it, regardless of the idea of Jalen Hurts not admitting to that after the game. I think rust had something to do with it in the middle portion of the game. The fact that everything was cooking on all cylinders would obviously go against that, considering the way the Eagles started the game. But the middle portion of the game had me concerned. Whether it was rust or not, not sure. But definitely looked like timing was off, fluidity was off, communication was off. But again, it goes into the idea of this, I think, being the worst game we're going to see from Jalen Hurts in the postseason. And if this is the worst game, a 2-touchdown passing game from Jalen Hurts, I feel pretty good about it. But the way they were able to rally late as a passing offense and get back on track is also what helped solidify things here for this Eagles victory. And how about that? Another playoff win for Jalen Hurts, advancing to the second round of the playoffs, divisional round of the playoffs again for Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts. Doing this with Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio is big differences in the game. You're not facing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which I think the Eagles would still beat them in the playoffs here. And I think the Eagles are a much better team than they were, for instance, in week 4. I think they're a much better team that walked off the field in Tampa a year ago in the playoffs. That's for damn sure. But Eagles are going to draw the Minnesota Vikings or they're going to draw the LA Rams. I'm not scared of either, but I think it's without question the easier path to get to the NFC Championship game is the Rams coming to Philadelphia. The only thing that scares me, the only thing I have respect for, I'll say that, is that the Vikings can just run up the score and they just got that kind of offense. Matthew Stafford, I hear all these people like slurping over Matthew Stafford, just like I hear all these people slurping about Justin Herbert. And I'm just like, yeah, bring him to Philly. Like, if the Eagles could do what they did against Matt Stafford and Puka Nacua, who was back for that game and back for some time, and Cooper Kupp, like, if they could do that against that offense, they could do it again. If they could do it in the nice dome, they could do it in South Philly as well. Bring it. But again, I don't fear either opponent. The one that I think is the easier path is the Rams. The one that I say, all right, if you're talking about a shootout, Justin Jefferson's pretty damn good at football. And Sam Darnold and him have been clicking ever since Sam Darnold obviously started the season. Again, I don't fear either, but I think the easier path is through the Rams. And yeah, Saquon's going to eat. He's going to eat again in that game. So yeah, I have the Eagles taking on the winner of the Commanders and the Lions. What? The Commanders, if you didn't see the game last night, Baker Mayfield had a horrific turnover, a fumble on, I didn't hear what he said after the game, if it was a fake handoff or he was really trying to hand it off, whatever it was, ball on the dirt. And it was scooped up by the Commanders. And they just went for it on 4th and goal from the 2 or 3. They didn't get it. They were down 4 at that point, I want to say. And they didn't get it. And then they get the ball back after the turnover. And then they punch it in. On another 4th and, I think it was 4th and 3 from the 5, maybe. And they got the touchdown. And then they won the game. So look at that. Also, Nick Sirianni, a couple of things more from last night's game. Nolan Smith, played for you, Nolan Smith. Oh, here is Nick Sirianni on Nolan Smith. And nothing puts a quarter in the Nick Sirianni love machine more so than when you ask him a question about how great a player or how far a player has come throughout a season.
Yeah, Nolan has just continued to get better. Nolan, I gave him a game ball in there because just his efforts. I love Nolan Smith. I mean, I want my kids aren't going to play defensive end. I know that my 2 sons aren't going to play defensive end. They're not going to have the genes to do so, but I want my sons to play football like Nolan Smith. As hard, like before my kids go out to play any sport, I say, have fun, play hard, be physical. And that guy is the definition of those things. He has fun out there. He has fun with his teammates. His teammates love him. He plays hard as I've ever seen anybody play. And this dude is a physical guy. I mean, I can't say enough about the way he plays this game. He loves this game. You love guys like that.
How do you not love guys like that? Anytime someone's willing to say, I hope my kids are like you, that's the biggest compliment anyone could ever give. I hope my kids are like you. Like, that's all. Like, no, I don't want to play defensive end, but you get what I'm saying. And again, I couldn't be more happy to be wrong. When it comes to Nolan Smith's progression so far this season. It really has been, I can't remember a season like this where there's been this much progression with so many different players. Again, you're talking about rookie corners playing like pros. I mean, Mekhi Becton, I even mentioned as a right guard in this team. We're talking about, is Tyler Steen going to be the right guard of this team? Is Mekhi Becton, a tackle, going to be the No, he's fine. He's fine. He graduated Statler University with honors, basically. What the? Cam Jurgens taking over at center? It hasn't been a problem at all. I said before the season, I got no doubt that Cam Jurgens could go out there and do everything that Jason Kelce did as far as the physical aspect of football. I was only worried about communication, shift, and protection. With Jalen Hurts struggling so much last year against the blitz, was he going to do it again with a new center? No, he's fine. Everything's fine. Cam Jurgens, as a matter of fact, Pro Bowler. What? Zach Bond, let me mention him one more time. Nolan Smith. It is absolutely bananas, the progression on this team. And that comes down to coaching. When I brought that up on postgame yesterday, Seth made an interesting point. He's like, yeah, but it's not just the idea of like coaching a player along. It's also the idea of recognizing that this player wants it. Like, I'm not going to waste my time if I dedicate more time to this player because this player wants to be good as bad as I want them to be good. I thought that was an interesting thing. And that goes to Vic Fangio getting that tape from Howie Roseman where Howie's like, look at his tape. And he's like, oh, yeah, give me the tape. And he looks at the tape and he goes, Howie says, oh, I think you have your new outside linebacker edge rusher and special teamer. And Vic Fangio's like, yeah, I think I got my new inside linebacker. And Howie's like, 100%, man. And then they had him. And he's in the Pro Bowl. He's all pro. And I also love the story about Zach Bond laughing at the Pro Bowl incentive in his contract. Yeah, when I was getting to that part of the contract, I started laughing. And then here he is 6 months later. Oh, what do you know? He's pretty damn good at football. And hopefully the Eagles retain him. So I love what I had to say. Tell you all that to tell you that I love what Nick Sirianni had to say about Nolan Smith. As far as Jalen Hurts on this offense, he was asked about the lull, particularly end of the first quarter till the end of this third quarter. What's with that lull there, Jalen? Did rust have a factor there? What was the deal?
It was execution. It was rhythm. We gotta find our rhythm early in the game, and I think first and foremost our defense played their tails off, and created turnovers, and I think ultimately, when you have those opportunities, you got to take advantage of them, and that starts with me.
Gave credit to the defense, took responsibility for his own struggles. I agree with every point he made. He makes a lot of sense, especially when he talks about his own struggles, which existed awfully in the middle of this game. And as I tell you all the time, whenever I look at a game, like I saw somebody in our comment section last night on the post-game show talk about, I never get negativity after a win. Why would you be negative after a win? I don't look at it as I'm not being negative about the win. Like, I'm happy they won. I'm positive they won. I have a lot of positive vibes about Jalen Hurts when a lot of other people are throwing him under the bus and saying he played terrible and all that. Oh, yeah, he had a stretch where it was no bueno. No doubt about that. But for me, throughout the season, it's happy that they win. Is the way they won and the way they played good enough to win a Super Bowl? Everything's when you have a team with Super Bowl aspirations, a quarterback and a receiving core, and these offensive linemen, Lane Johnson's already won a Super Bowl. When you have a team that has this kind of resume, this kind of roster, and they prove throughout the season that they could be a 14-win team, good Lord. Like people were saying I was Paulie Pom-Poms in the beginning of the year when I said, oh, this team could win 12 games. Oh, calm down. I said this team was going to the playoffs after they beat the Browns. And people were like, how could you say that? I'm like, well, because they're not god-awful. Like, that's how I say that. But looking at this team and looking at Jalen Hurts and looking at Nick Sirianni and the coaching on this squad, like I see a team where the sky's the limit. But when I look at a win, it's not just about winning that game. Like, the point of the season is not to beat the Browns in whatever it was, week 6. It's not to beat the Bengals. It's not to beat the Giants. It's to win a Super Bowl. So if you have a team that you feel can win the Super Bowl, then it's not just about the measuring stick every game or just winning every game. It's about the measuring stick to what that game means for a Super Bowl victory. The way Jalen Hurts played for 4 quarters is not going to win a Super Bowl. You can't have 2 awful quarters in the middle of the Super Bowl against an upper echelon. You can't do that against the Lions. The Lions will be up 45-0 if that happens, or in this case, 45-7. Like, you can't do that against those upper echelon teams. So if you're going to have a bad game, Even a game where he threw 2 touchdown passes and came up clutch, and that, by a Jalen Hurts standard, is a bad game. Even if that's going to be your bad game, yeah, get it out of the way now. I only see this offense and this passing offense getting more on the same page as the playoffs go on. So that's why I look at this game and I go, yeah, this is about what I expected from Jalen Hurts. Now, in terms of the chronology, in terms of the order, I didn't expect 6 of 6 for his first 6 throws. I expected that's a rocky start for Jalen Hurts. Ooh, not such a great second quarter, but by the third quarter, he turned it on. I didn't expect good, ugly, clutch, which I think is the best way to describe Jalen Hurts' performance in this game. Let me know what was the biggest sticking point for you in this in the comments. Hit me up, Farzi Show on YouTube. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the Farzi Show on YouTube. Usually on 6:30 in the morning to 7:30 in the morning. You know, it's the digital world. No big whoop. But go ahead and hit me up in the comment section as well. What was the play? What was the game? What was the player? What stuck out to you the most in this game? Was it that you're looking at it through different colored glasses as I am? All in all, yes, defense star of the show. Nolan Smith heading that up, forcing the turnovers the way special teams and your defense did. Saquon Barkley still getting over 100 yards, averaging 6.2 yards per carry in the first half. Jalen Hurts coming up clutch, or maybe you just think Jalen Hurts sucks now. I don't know. But what stuck out to you about this win? Hit me up in the comments. Of course, we'll get to that in our chat check coming up momentarily. As far as the rest of this game goes, Eagles will draw the winner of the Vikings-Rams game, which is tonight. And the Eagles will play Sunday at 3 o'clock. If you were watching the game last night with Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth on NBC, their graphics said 2 o'clock. This game is going to be on Peacock/NBC, so 2 o'clock is the pregame time. That got me as well. But fortunately, you can edit tweets now and posts on X. So 3 o'clock kickoff between the Eagles and the Eagles and the Vikings or Rams. Easier path, Rams. For me, it goes without saying. Hey, let me tell you about the game. Oh, before I do that. So as I do this now, it's 10:53 in the morning, and as I was about to do it, as I speak about it, I'm getting a call right now. Or not a call, a text. So I have to get back to this. So I'm doing this right now. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic. Parks and Recreation versus The Office. I don't know. I only say Parks and Rec because I have a Andy Dwyer gif in this text chain, and that's why I'm thinking of it. I'm spending too much time on this. Wouldn't be able to do that. Hold on. Let me put not in caps so that way they really understand. Correct. I still would not be able to do Sunday. There we go. Monday is, whoops, that's all caps. I don't want to make this person feel like I'm yelling. Monday is better. I'm going to clip this portion of the show and send it to the person I just sent that text message to. It's a boss, so I kind of have to respond to that immediately. Anyway, thanks for hanging in there. What'd you come up with? The Office? That's what I thought. Anyway, but Ron Swanson's so damn good, right? Anyway, so is Andy Dwyer for the most part. All right. The 76ers arena. Everything's been developing. I am one of the people in the vast minority that loves a downtown arena. I thought with 9 years to plan, the city would figure out traffic patterns, whether that's flipping lanes, whatever the case might be. Especially helping traffic to Jefferson Hospital, for crying out loud. I love going to stadiums, and I'm so blessed to have traveled throughout this country and been to stadiums that are downtown and walkable stadiums, and I love it. And I love the potential of the economic development that it could bring, especially to a place like Market East that has been really not happening since the gallery was popular. So I love the idea. I love downtown stadiums. I love downtown arenas. I'll gladly sit in more traffic if that means that the bars and restaurants throughout the city of Philadelphia are getting brought back especially since COVID and all that. That does not go without saying that my heart would go out to Chinatown and how much they hated the idea. And a lot of people, look, I know I'm in the minority. I saw a poll that said like I was part of the 30% of people that actually wanted the stadium down there. And I think by some people's counts, that's even high. I hate what this means for, and I know no one ever argues for the government, but I just feel terrible that the city of Philadelphia, the council members, the people of Chinatown, I feel terrible that they were pawns in all of this. And reading comments from members of the city government about how they felt like they were pawns. I saw one quote, we were bamboozled and all that. Like, that's terrible. They got pantsed. And for all the people, and I support the idea of anyone protesting. That's why what makes this country so great. But if the city just would have said yes to everything, like quickly, we would have still arrived at this ending. The Philadelphia 76ers as businessmen are brilliant. Oh man, they're so damn good. They didn't care whose feelings they were going to hurt. They didn't care whose emotions that they were going to enrage and ignite. They didn't care about any of it. They just went for the jugular, man. They just kept on going until they got the final yes that they needed. And then Comcast Spectacor, the Flyers, they said, we're going to do this whole thing. We're going to cut you a great deal. We don't know the specifics of the deal just yet, but we're going to give you this great thing. And the Sixers were like, okay. And I'm sure that was the Sixers' end goal. I honestly don't know how serious they ever were about actually building the stadium as much as they were waiting for the powers that be, whether it be the NBA, whether it be the city, whether it be Comcast Spectacor, to say, okay, all right, fine. We know that it's all steam ahead, fine, but here's the deal. And the Sixers went, okay. And all the while, the citizens of Philadelphia, who I know most of them are happy that there's no stadium, bottom line. But the fact that they were all used as pawns in this negotiating ploy by the Sixers, it makes me absolutely sick to my stomach. And if you're happy that there's no stadium, and I know most of you are, good for you, that's fine. But the fact that we were dragged through this debate, emotions were extremely high, people were toyed with, and I hate that idea. And it's not the first time the Sixers have done it. Like, yes, with a stadium, but I think about the ownership of Joshua Harris to begin with. You go from buying the Sixers to Andrew Bynum to kicking Doug Collins out to the curb, to Sam Hinkie, to investing wholly in the process, and then being bullied by the NBA to bring in the Colangelos, then turning your back on the idea that you were fully supporting. Then once you actually start to bear fruit from the process, you gouge your loyal fans who not only didn't go away, but grew in support of the process. You gouge them with this BS 3-tier season ticket package that I know a lot of people don't remember, but I do, because the people that invested in the Sixers emotionally, you just gouged them with that BS plan. And all the while, you don't make it out of the second round of the playoffs. Oh, and the guy that can't stay healthy, you extend for 5 years. And now, just as a beautiful chef's kiss, you BS the city about a downtown arena. All part of a negotiating ploy. That's what it looks like from the outside looking in. And I normally don't care about, businessmen are businessmen. Josh Harris is a businessman. Let him buy all the teams he wants. Good for him. But bottom line, I want an owner that is invested in the city of Philadelphia. Oh, I forgot. During COVID, they were the first people to be like, cutbacks for everybody. And then if I'm proud of anything I've ever done on radio, it's calling the BS on that. People were terrified, and they're like, we're cutting your paycheck. Oh, thanks. And then, you know what they did? They reversed course on it. And I'm not taking credit for it, but I'm just glad I was on the right side of history with that. Oh, and all the while, they haven't made it out of the second round of the playoffs since Allen Iverson was playing. For those that you could have been born the last year the Sixers made it out of the second round of the playoffs and finished college by now. That's how that works. You could have started a family. Who knows when that would have happened anyway. But you're just saying in the normal progression of things, you would born, graduate college, started your career, and the time it's taken the Sixers to get back to the Eastern Conference Finals. And all the while, this ownership group has just not been invested in the happiness of this fan base. They're invested, like, for instance, invested in the happiness of the city. They pissed us off with this whole arena thing. They buy the Devils. Normally, I don't care about this, but now I care. They buy the Commanders. Normally, I don't care about this, but it's a little thing that seems even bigger to me because it's just another highlight of how much they don't give a damn about us. Use the entire city and city council as pawns. You know what I need to do? I need to read A.J. Brown's book. It's one thing I forgot in the Eagles thing. So now that I'm off the Sixers run, whatever, the A.J. Brown book gate, whatever you want to call it. Oh, God. I didn't like it. You're on the sidelines with your teammates. Be invested in the game. To me, it was the definition of, like, if you're talking to me, I'm just like, Oh, what was that? Oh, okay. Like, it's the definition of ignoring somebody. It's being rude is what it is. That's ultimately what I don't like. So no, I didn't like it. I saw John Gruden told Barstool that he wanted to throw up. It made him want to throw up. Okay. Here's A.J. Brown on defending having his book on the sideline.
That's a book that I bring every single game. And, my teammates call it a recipe. That's the first time I heard that y'all got me on camera. But that's not the first game. It got a lot of points in there. It's a lot of mental game, a lot of mental parts about it. And, but for me, this game is mental. I physically believe I can do anything and everything, but, I got to make sure my mental good. So it's something like how I refresh every drive. Regardless of if I score a touchdown or I drop a pass, I always go back to that book every drive and just refocus and nothing matters, nothing happens, and just relog back in. But, so.
Is there a certain passage?
No. I say this. I have zero doubt that he's read that book. I have zero doubt that he's taken it with him to every game. I have a lot of doubt about him opening the book up on the sideline. And I'll tell you what goes into that. I worked in television broadcast, the number one broadcast football network for 11 years, NBC Sunday Night Football. I know for for every single game. It's not just NBC. I've heard about this from my friends that work camera crews for other games as well. They're always looking for something on the sideline. Whether that's a player losing it against a head coach, whether it's one player losing it against another player, whether it's a fight, it doesn't matter. Whether it's Saquon Barkley in this game, going to the offensive lineman and talking to the offensive lineman, they're always looking on the bench. There are cameras on the bench. You mean to tell me through now 18 broadcasts of Eagles games, including the playoffs, they could catch A.J. Brown sleeping on the sideline last week, and they've never caught him up until now with a book on the sideline? Bull crap. I don't believe it. I'm not saying he's lying. I'm just saying I don't believe you. Jalen Hurts talked about how he's seen him reading the book before. Okay. He didn't say he saw him read it on the sidelines. That's the part that's odd to me. And it's especially odd to me when your passing game is struggling again and you only have one completion. You only have one reception in that first half. I thought it was originally no reception until the second half, but I was wrong on that. Somebody corrected me on that on my when I did my earlier show today. What was this first half summary targets for A.J. Brown? 2 targets, 1 catch, 10 yards. Longest catch was Jahan Dotson's 11-yard reception for that touchdown. Holy Stromboli. While I'm here, Hurts' longest play was 28 yards to Devontae Smith. There was a Devontae Smith 28-yard reception, the 24-yard touchdown reception by Dallas Goedert. That was nice. But yeah. I'm going to put it to you like this. I don't really care about the book. I just think it's stupid. That's it. It doesn't make me angry. Somebody said, I can't believe you were clutching your pearls. Somebody hit me on Twitter with that. Can't believe I'm clutching my pearls. I don't like it. Last thing I need, this team is a distraction. But hey, hopefully they take some offense to it as a passing offense and they come out clicking when they take on the Rams. How about this as well? When it comes to the Eagles' next opponent, the Rams, this is so amazing. A 14-win Minnesota Vikings team is going to take on, I can't believe this, a 10-7 LA Rams team in, well, not Los Angeles due to the fires, obviously, but on the road. Now, it's going to be a neutral site, more or less, but I'm going to go ahead and venture to guess there's going to be more Rams fans there than there are Vikings fans. Although Vikings fans, Arizona sounds nice to anybody in Minnesota, I'll say that much. But, man, hey, go Rams, go, as far as I'm concerned. Go Rams, go. I play everything for you? I played everything for you. Hey, let me tell you about the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account. Use promo code Farzi and get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. So download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code Farzi, get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. Want to go to the game? Want to go to the concert? Want to go to the comedy show? Download the Game Time app. They also have last-minute ticket deals, flash ticket deals. They even have ticket deals for an hour after the event starts. And how about this? The Game Time Picks feature on the Game Time app. You know what that does? I'll tell you what it does. The Game Time Picks feature allows you to filter out all the fluff. So you get right down to it. The best seats at the best prices on the Game Time app when you use the Game Time Picks feature on the Game Time app. So it literally saves you thousands of tickets to scroll through, so you just see the best seats for the best prices. They also have the all-in pricing feature, which allows you to toggle this feature and see exactly what you're paying upon checkout. So you truly take the guesswork out of buying tickets. You don't say, oh, wait, how do these $30 tickets become $40? No, toggle the all-in pricing feature. You see exactly what you're paying before you check out. And you can also view your seat's vantage point before you check out as well. Again, take the guesswork out of buying tickets with the Game Time app. So download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code Farzi, and get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. Terms apply. What time is it? Game time. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs? That's PHLSportsNation.com. How about our friends at Sky Motorcars? SkyMotorcars.com. Check out Brett's amazing inventory at SkyMotorcars.com. Let's get into the chat check and see how you wonderful people are doing on this fine Victory Monday morning. Kevin, good morning. Nice to see you. Jason A., what the hell? Farzi show now? Yep. Had my Fox 29 hit today. Got the show started even later than usual. Usually we're 6:30. Usually that's our start time. Number of technical issues I had to work out. Miss Guzzi for that. And I want to leave you guys on a 27-minute show because I had to scurry off to do my Fox 29 hit. Fortunately, they weren't ripping Nair hair removal strips off my head this time. So I might have to do that again Friday. They won after all. So, it is what it is. But so, yeah, I wanted to make sure I did a follow-up show here. Wine Niders Wine. You definitely called it. That's knowing the game plan. That's knowing the game plan. Burmy 777. Hello. Farzi, would you agree or not? Ooh, I love these. Jalen Hurts, great stats or wins in this year's playoffs? Tired of all the negativity concerning Hurts' quarterback play. He just wins. Here's what I'm sick of. I'm sick of people having amazing recency bias. Like, incredible recency bias with Jalen Hurts. Like, Eagles won 14 games this year. Oh, it's all Saquon Barkley. All right, well, what about in 2022 when they had 14 wins in the season? And Jalen Hurts was the runner-up to the MVP and would have won the MVP over Patrick Mahomes if he didn't miss 2 games with that shoulder injury. Was it the Bears? I think it was a shoulder injury against the Bears. People have this amazing recency bias. I look at Jalen Hurts' records as a starting quarterback in the NFL. 2022, 14-1. Gee, that's good. Last year, 11-6. That's still good despite the horrific collapse. This year, 12-3. They're what, a 10-1 in his last 11 games that he started and finished this season. He was also 8-7 in his first year as a starter, so that was a nice little run. Still made the playoffs, by the way. This year, he's had the best passer rating of his career at 103.7. That's bananas. Second best QBR of his career. And completion percentage, I think, was the highest in his career. Completion percentage, 68.7, topping his previous high that he set of 66.5 in the year the Eagles went to the Super Bowl. So what are we doing here? 5 interceptions? Second lowest interception rate of his career. He had 1.3 interception percentage in 2022. Oh, there was one more thing. Yards per attempt. Matched his yards per attempt total in 2022. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and not be worried about Jalen Hurts. And also, I want people to stop talking about the main thing. The main thing, as if it's stupid to say that. Don't we want players that all they care about is winning? I kind of want players that all they care about is winning. And the Panthers game was supposed to be a game that he was terrible. And don't get me wrong, he wasn't good in the Panthers game. And this is where the idea of numbers never lie, but they sure as hell deceive, as I always like to say. In that Panthers game, he still had 3 touchdowns, 2 of them passing, 1 on the ground. Baltimore, he supposedly didn't have a great game against Baltimore. Only 19 passes, 11 completions. Yeah, but he was clutch as hell, and they were running the football so well. Do you want a quarterback that's like, no, stop with Saquon Barkley behind this offensive line, which is only the most dominant thing in the entire NFL? Stop using that. And it's about me. No, you don't want that. I don't want that guy. I don't want that guy as my quarterback. I want the guy going like, oh, how are we winning? Okay. What's the best way to win? Oh, okay, let's do that. And then if you need me to make a clutch throw on a 3rd and 7, 3rd and 3, scramble for a 20-yard gain, and I can do it. I can do that too. That's why I love the Steelers game so much, because everyone was just raining a poop storm upon Jalen Hurts. And then I loved it when he came out afterwards. Just like, is that what y'all wanted to see? I'm like, I didn't need to see it. I knew that was there. The only thing that concerned me was it wasn't just the quarterback play against the Panthers. It was the quarterback play. It was the offensive line. Literally, Jordan Mailata coming out after the game being like, we know what we were doing. And then, and that was on the offensive line. That wasn't on Jalen Hurts. That was Jalen Hurts not being in sync with A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith in that game. Literally, Devontae Smith on the All-22, you could see him and Jalen Hurts pointing at it. It's like, well, I thought I was over there. No, you were over there. I thought I was supposed to be here. No, you're supposed to be over there. The whole thing was craptastic. Oh, and Jalen still did not play well. This isn't an excuse. This is an explanation for why it was so terrible. Wasn't it? Just Jalen Hurts is bad. It's like, okay, all right, let's see if he kicks it in the high gear. But everybody's out of sync. That's a terrible thing, especially against a team like the Panthers, for crying out loud. But then they righted the ship in the following week, and then here they were again. So thank you, Burmy. Do I agree or not? I still don't understand what you say, but I like Jalen Hurts. Empire, what's going on? Scooby Doo. Hurts needs to wake up. He did late. Bought 316. What's going on? Good morning. Lewis Simpson. Progression is what Vic Fangio is bringing here. Vic Fangio on progression. You liking a meatball? I'm making a meatball. You liking a meatball? I'm making a meatball. All right. For the people listening on the podcast later, I was playing the clip of Vic Fangio making meatballs, which is just one of the other things that reminds me of my dad. So does this. God, I love it. I can't get enough of it. Either way, where the hell am I? Here I am. Thank you, Lewis. Why Niners? Why? I can't believe the Flyers are worse than the Sixers. So disappointing being dead last. Well, the Flyers just had a huge win over Gauthier. No? They dominated, didn't they? Didn't they just win like 6-0? Yeah, they just won 6-0 over the Ducks. Quack, 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 Mr. Ducksworth. Empire defense destroyed so many. All right, no need to go there. Himothy Timmy, funny. Look at the film. Green Bay clamped every route on nearly every pass attempt. I referenced all I saw so far was the Orlovsky thing, and I highlighted it a couple of times already. The Out of Bounds podcast. Go Birds. Go Birds. Say it back. I'd rather him reading a book than headbutting kicking nets. Oh, that's so good. Thank you. I needed that laugh. This isn't LeBron James in that Malcolm X book fake reading. I just heard that on Rogan. Who the hell were they talking? Oh, it was Protect Our Parks with Mark Norman, Ari Shaffir, and Shane Gillis, of course, and Joe Rogan. They were talking about fake reading. Like one of their comedian friends. Oh, who the hell was it? Oh, man, he's been on Meat Eater with them. Oh, dude, I forget his name. I'm blanking. But he had Catcher in the Rye on his coffee table, and Joe Rogan was like, dude, you're not reading that book. You just have them on the coffee table for when girls come over. And he's like, you're so right. Anyway, thanks everybody in the chat. You guys are wonderful as per usual. Hey, make sure you hit like and subscribe on the Farzy Show YouTube channel. Make sure you hit like and subscribe on the Jacob Media YouTube channel. Make sure you hit like and subscribe on the Seth Joyner Show YouTube channel. Make sure you hit like and subscribe on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, where yours truly gives you your 76ers postcasts. Later on, it'll be your Phillies postcasts as well as Jason Martinez and Harry Mays giving you your Locked On Eagles postcasts as well. So how about that? So yeah, make sure you hit like and subscribe on all that type jazz. It's much appreciated. In closing, I've given you everything I've got on the Eagles. One more thing on the stadium. I have yet to see the plans. Here's what I am all for. I am all for a better game day experience for fans that spends money, if not in Center City, in the city. Like, I want that to happen. If I am eager to see what Comcast Spectacor is proposing as far as building up everything down there by the stadiums. If they make that stadium complex even more of an island of entertainment, then I'm all for it. Give me the great game day experience. Give me something where I can go down there. I can walk around. Like, if you've ever been to a Patriots game, Patriot Place is a cool place to walk around. If you've ever been out there to Arizona for an Eagles-Cardinals game or even a Super Bowl, they have Westgate down there, which is great. It's a whole other city within a city. If they develop that, then that's awesome. I love that. And if I know anything about the planners at Comcast Spectacor, they do a phenomenal job with putting ideas together. And then hopefully with the Sixers on board, they can execute these ideas. As much as I would have loved a downtown arena for everyone within the city of Philadelphia in terms of businesses and bringing people into the city, especially in a post-COVID world, we're not going to get that. I can't wait to see what Comcast Spectacor is planning to put together with the Sixers on board now. That's what I'm going to look forward to. As far as the Sixers' execution of all this, that's still disgusting to me. Absolutely disgusting. Could have saved everyone a lot of heartache, a lot of anger, a lot of rage. But again, they are phenomenal businessmen and women, phenomenal business people. They got what they wanted. Go figure. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. My name is Mark Farzetta. Hit like and subscribe on the Farzy Show YouTube channel. I'll be back with you guys tomorrow morning for another edition of the Farzy Show. Thanks for checking us out. Be back with you guys tomorrow. Until then. All right. And don't forget words of wisdom, ladies and gentlemen.
Take away the scoreboard.
Yep. Thank you very much. See you guys tomorrow.